speaker here today. We are neighbors, we are spiritual buddies, we are agitators together. We are both former editors of the Texas Observer. We are, in fact, both of us have achieved the epitome of our literary careers by being published in Funny Times. This is a great accomplishment, and we can rest on that laurel for a long, long time. A lady who not only brings truth through her columns that go nationwide, but also does it with a sense of humor and with the power of her vision. And a lady who does more than just act as a pamphleteer and a columnist and muckraker. This is a lady who is involved in this movement. She is a force to be reckoned with. I bring to you our own Molly Ivins.
In part, in addition to coming out for a good time, because I got asked a question when I was speaking at a university in Lansing, Michigan not long ago, the home of the Lansing Lug Nuts. They had a statue, a giant statue of a lug nut right there in downtown Lansing. It's just fabulous. I'm not much of an art critic, but it looked to me exactly like a really big lug nut. Anyway, I had been talking to the students about politics, which of course is enough to impress anybody, and one of them stood up earnestly and said, "Who now holding public office do you think would make a truly great president?" And I said, And I finally figured out that I was starting from the wrong end. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the unimportant part. The important part is at this end. It's where we start to make this a better country. I don't care what fool they put in office. We just got to rebuild the whole system. That's how it's going to change. From us, not them. And I know y'all know that the root of the rot in politics is money, that usual suspect. And getting rid of the system of legalized bribery that we call politics in this country is probably step number one. We're going to have a chance to vote on it right here in Austin, May 4, the Fair Campaign Act. Go, go, go. But there is something about politics that I did come to preach to y'all today about, and I am just as serious as a stroke about this. Y'all need to have more fun. You really and truly do. The man who taught me how to freedom fight was the beloved John Henry Falk. Now, I know some of you all tonight remember that a while back here we had fundamentalist divine in town, the Reverend Mark Weaver by name. He was hell-bent on driving all the sin out of Austin, Texas. So, of course, he had his life's work cut out for him right there. And Weaver headed up a group called Citizens Against Pornography. And they used to march around outside the dirty bookstores and movie theaters of the town with signs saying, honk if you hate pornography. I always honked. I do hate pornography, and besides I thought they lent a lot of color to our life, kind of like Leslie the transvestite. And they came up with a scheme under which they would have a new zoning ordinance, and under the zoning ordinance basically it was going to drive all the dirty bookstores and movie theaters out of town to the cultural deprivation of the citizenry. Now, as a matter of fact, I genuinely do hate pornography, but I did not think it was a good idea to have Reverend Weaver in charge of deciding what books we should read and what movies we could see. So I hied down to the meeting of the City Zoning Commission that very evening. I found there 2 fellow freedom fighters and 350 citizens against pornography, about your usual odds there. And Weaver got up to speak, and he told a terrible story. There's a dirty movie theater on South Congress Avenue. It's my neighborhood dirty movie theater. In fact, I noticed driving up the place, they had a new feature attraction, The Nun's Bad Habit. We report a lady called him, said that after the 5 o'clock show at that theater on the previous day, a man came out, went around the alley, also directly behind that lady's house, and the man there masturbated. 350 people simultaneously went, which makes a real strange noise. And, yes, said Frederick Weaver, that man masturbated. That lady has two little girls who might have seen him do that terrible thing, except praise Jesus, there was a large fence around her backyard. Well, with that, we were all praising Jesus. And Weaver was off and running. He was cussing sin up one side and down the other. And so we huddled when it was our turn to speak in the negative, and sent up John Henry Falk, who shuffled up to the mic doing his well-known impersonation of an enfeebled senior citizen. And he began by saying, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Weaver, citizens of Gaines, my name is John Henry Falk. I am 75 years old. I was born and raised in South Austin, Texas, not a quarter of a mile from where the Darty movie theater stands today. I think you should all know that there was a great deal of masturbation in South Austin long before there was a Darty movie. Now, y'all know that in order to have fun while fighting for freedom, you just have to exercise your imagination. And sometimes a little beer helps too. Some of y'all might remember a great political action here a few years back. The legislature took a fit of communism and made Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a state holiday. It was a package deal. They kept Confederate Heroes Day. But of course it upset the Ku Klux Klan, and they announced they were coming to the Capitol to have a big march. And all of us civil libertarians, of course, are solemnly obliged to defend the right of any nincompoop to stand up and spew whatever vicious drivel he wants to. So there we were, once again, supporting the KKK and their right to march. And we were all depressed about it, and we got to thinking there must be a better way. So, you know, we don't have enough cluckers right here in Austin to have a good march. They had to be bussed in from Waco and Vidor. And they got off the buses wearing their little pointy hats on their little pointy heads and commenced to march up Congress Avenue, where they were greeted by hundreds of Austinites who mooned them as they marched. Made a really nice effect, kind of like a wave in a baseball stadium. Now that is the kind of political action, I believe, that we can all get behind. And let me tell you, this is a town that knows how to have fun and how to do things with style and imagination that don't cost a lot of money. They don't cost the earth to advertise on television with all these slick production people. This is the town that invented Eeyore's birthday and the Spam-O-Rama and the Billion Bubba March. I mean, come on, this is great political action. And I just want to urge you all, as you get out there and freedom fight and raise hell about various issues, of which there is never any shortage, have a good time. Have a good time while you're fighting for freedom. First of all, we don't always win, and it might get to be the only fun you'll ever have. And second of all, it's a better way to live. Thank you.
Ivins. As I travel the country, I hear people say, oh, you're from Texas where George Bush is. You're from Texas where Phil Graham is. You're from Texas where Dick Armey and Tom DeLay are. And I said, no, I'm from Texas where Molly Ivins is. That's my Texas.